Inglewood, California. I must say it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. We've been having so many things going on in the community where we've been doing a whole lot of outreach, making sure that somebody has something to eat. And I don't have him in that camera, but that's the whole part. Right over here to me, right over here. You know, our life always gives us an opportunity to do a whole lot of different things for the community, and we try to keep up with the events of the day. So I am from the Green Believers and Whitey's Enterprise. We do play with social equity and we do technical assistance, and that's our main job. Our job is to make sure that the people who's in the weed industry will be able to receive their license when DCR open back up. So again, if you have not called me, you need to pick up your phone and give me a call right away, because we are in a race of time, and DCR is putting plans on opening the place back up. So again, I would always bring somebody on who is knowledgeable of the streets. And I'm a street dude myself. And I try to help the community in all ways. Some people don't even know how to take the first step into trying to apply for a weed license. A new door getting ready to open soon, where you guys are gonna be able to register again and get to the portal. And when you get to the portal, you're gonna have to be at a certain number. And last time they let us not go through correctly, because a whole lot of people was in Beverly Hills and Orange County and those other places, and they got there first. But you got to remember, when you try to get into something, you got to work 10 hours more than they work to succeed in anything. And that's me. I work 30 hours more than the person work in the week. That means I go to sleep at a different hour from you. And my team, they go to sleep from a different hour than you. Because we try to prepare ourselves to go forward and attack the world in so many other different ways. So again, here we are. We sitting here, we working hard, we just outworking people. And the weed industry is understanding they under attack by other elements. And those other elements is not letting them through the door at this moment. But this door about to open wide. And as we were talking to the people from Go Verdict the other day, they came down to Just Poppin', and they understood that Just Poppin' was not playing. Just Poppin' don't play no games. The boys from Whitey's Enterprise in the East Side, we really deep into business. What we did in the past, that's what we did in the past. But what we do now is totally different. We set people up so they can run their own business. There's no such thing that you should lose in what you do best. You should always have yourself in position to take those other steps. And when you take those other steps, you transfer yourself away from the street game into the business game. And the business game is much easier than the street game, because you don't have to worry about the police or anybody telling on you. The only thing you're going to do is get a whole lot of people jealous of you because you're doing what's right, and you're trying to help your other brother achieve something that he wasn't capable of achieving because he didn't have the right people around him. So I would sit back, and I talk about this every day to all my guys, like, to restructure your life, you got to restructure your world. Sometimes you got to look at the past and walk away from it, because some people don't want to see you taking those necessary steps to be better. Not better than them, but better than you was yesterday. Because yesterday you made some mistakes, and you living on it, and you still laying on the cold ground, regretting everything you did. But from past experience, I would say this to you: never worry about what happened yesterday, because yesterday is the past. Readjust yourself. And if you have some bad people in your past, that every time you went to climb up, they pulled you down. Those is the people that you got to walk away from. And when you walk away from those people, that means you're readjusting yourself, your way of thinking. It's not bad at all. It's really the correct thing to do. And once you do those correct things, you'll be able to put yourself in a better position. And you must remember this. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you a part of that I do. You must look at yourself in the mirror every day as your worst enemy. And look at the table that you're playing on. And figure out what piece you got to remove off your chessboard. Because sometimes when you have pieces on your chessboard, those pawns can destroy you. So you need to get away from those pawns and get with those kings and queens and knights. And you move your pieces like that. And when you move them correctly, the rewards are going to be high. They're going to be right. They're going to put you in a position where you can feed your family without the other people with those blue uniforms knocking on your door. So again, here we are talking about everything you want to know about cannabis and everything you want to know about life. So now we got topics that we got to talk about today. We got to talk about LA Chronicles. We got to talk about the Hugh Jackson story. We got to talk about Whitey's Enterprise, the Green Believers, Go Verdict. We got to talk about Henry Tillman. We got to talk about all these things, and then we got to come back and talk about Ira Tillman, the documentary he did on his cousin. So here we are again, experiencing life in a new lane, where we sitting back telling you it's a grand opening for Just Poppin'. It's a brand new hamburger stand that came out. They got the best tasting wings in town, best tasting hamburgers in town, turkey burgers, pastrami,
Yeah.
French fries. We got everything is fresh for you to come to enjoy. It's 1030 East 25th Street. It's popping. It's just popping. And the food is delicious. You may see us right now popping up on Instagram, Facebook, and you see Just Poppin'. I know everybody saying, who is Just Poppin'? Just Poppin' is the East Side Kids. They're trying to bring something back to the neighborhood that they left a long time ago, where they was kidnapped and they got their lives forfeited. And when they came home, they figured it out. If they didn't want their life to be forfeited, they had to get in the legal business. And once you get in the legal business, you can do a whole lot of different things. You can go to re-entry and help the people who are coming home. You can go to the halfway house and have a conversation with the brothers in the halfway house. It's just so much to life to offer, because you have so many hidden talents that you own. You can write a book. You can do a screenplay. You got so many hidden talents. And as I talk about hidden talent, let me introduce you once again to Ira Tillman. How you doing, Ira?
Whitey, you were talking about Just Poppin'. I had Just Poppin' for breakfast because I bought a hamburger from you yesterday. I ate half of it last night, and I warmed it up right before I came to the show today. So I still have hamburger in the jaws of my cheeks right now. So it's a great burger, man. Great burger place. You're doing something that's surely needed in the area.
Yes.
You're hiring local employees, and and this is one of my new words, osmosis. You're affecting the environment you're in.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're both doing the same thing, because I have, of course, that project coming up. We have a television pilot that I was granted permission to develop. And of course, your company is the technical, audio-visual components of that, and good things are happening this year.
Yes.
For most of us. Now, some of us have taken a step backwards, and I'm just talking about a couple of the 40 Thieves from Super Thieves, my book. A couple of them have taken a step backwards this year, and can't let that old lifestyle go. I'm not going to mention any names, but it's still going on, and some of the detriment is still coming because of that type of stuff. But otherwise, 21 is giving us a fair shake
Yes.
so far.
Yes.
You know, and you're presenting opportunities to the cannabis community to become their own bosses. You know, and man, all that positivity between me, you, and others who are in our old position and now have established a new position, it's miraculous how it's starting to look the future for everybody involved.
Yeah. You know, that's the great thing about us. When you sit back and you look at the past and you take it and you put it on the table and you look at it and you examine it and you break it down and you understand what you did wrong and you understand how to correct it. And some of our guys, not being disrespectful, they are still in the terms of, I'm gonna live in the 80s and the 90s.
Right.
And they haven't really paid attention to the defeat that they've been suffering from the other people.
Mm-hmm.
So every day that we sit back, we try to make a new move and we try to bring everybody in and let them see what's going on. And we don't hide anything. There's a whole lot of people that's hiding the truth. And the true value of success is giving it to the people raw, uncut, and it's being seen on Instagram, Facebook. So I would say this all the time, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you on OG status and you can't teach these young dudes what to do correctly to stay out of jail, you need to stop saying that you are OG. Because the OG really stands for original thinker, not original gangster. Anybody can be gangster, but original thinker mean a lot to the community, where they could sit down and their parents could walk down the street and nobody put their hands on nobody in the neighborhood. This is what original thinkers do out the neighborhood. When they talk about in a gang is based on taking care of the older people and the younger people in the neighborhood. It's not based on a neighborhood going to really shoot at each other. It wasn't formed like that. It shouldn't be like that. It should be what it really truly for. It's for you guys to make sure that the older people is there to be protected and cared for, as they did us when we was little kids.
Yeah.
So you got to be original thinker instead of original gangster, because anybody can pick up a gun and pull the trigger. We look at law enforcement. They some guys who was more likely bullied when they was younger, and they get their hands on a gun, and now they want to be these tough guys, and they want to beat on whoever they can get their hands on because they ain't the right color. So we come back to original gangster and original thinker. A thinker can always think for his people and help them out and show them the right way. So I am an original thinker. I'm an original dude who made a lot of kings in LA. And I could say it, and I won't take it back. When they talk about Snowfall, they talk about the guy who designed all the rock houses in the rock game. And there's a few of us who designed these games before any of these other people even came in existence. These games was designed. And today we trying to tell them, you have put yourself on this pedestal. We need you to be an original thinker now. And we need you to help these young dudes, since they look up to you guys, to help them and show them the way how not to give their content. I will say this again. Do not give you guys content to other people to control your destiny. It's not cool for you guys to run and give you guys content to other people and don't get any money for it. It's not cool, brothers. Get you some brothers. There's a whole lot of black brothers who got cameras and who can make your content for you. And when they make your content for you, then you can go sit back and you can go lease your content out to Amazon, Netflix, and all these other people. The stories must be told. But I ask you, brothers, you big boys who say you guys are original gangsters, I ask you guys, do not let them manipulate you guys and let them give you an idea that you came from 1978 and to 1985 when you wasn't young enough to be in that frame. Mm-hmm. So I'm asking you brothers to really open your eyes. I understand you heard all the stories that we talked about. I understand that a whole lot of dudes who were smoking sat on the porch and told you all these great stories on how the shakers and movers was doing. But I asked you, if you're gonna get these stories out, take it to somebody black and let them film the content, and then have that conversation, and you could tell them in the right manner. Like, this is a story that I heard. I was not a part of it, but I heard it, and it's a great story. So this what original thinkers do. They think of a way to take advantage of the stories that they have and do not give them to the other people. So now, let's go back to this topic that we wanted to talk about today. You know, Kaepernick, he's a football player. He made the movement. Yeah, we're gonna say it. He is the movement of the NFL. He is the movement of the community push. He is the face that stood there on the sideline on one knee, and he said, no more. I'm with my people. I'm tired of people doing things to my people. Every time I turn around, you guys putting a gun to one of their heads and pulling the trigger. This is a person that me and my counterpart is talking about. And we looking at everything what's going on. And we're saying, why him? Why not give him the opportunity? But I'm not going to relate this story, because this is a story that is like Hugh Jackson. Why is he not an NFL coach? Because he earned it. Why do he got to be knocked down? Because somebody said he ain't smart enough and they know he's overqualified. Why is it that every time we turn around we talk about Hugh Jackson or any black coach, they get 2 years and then they get kicked out the door? Why are we in this conversation with Gruden and all of them getting 10 years opportunities with $100 million or $100 million, $200 million, and 10% ownership of a football team? Why is they so special where they can look at a black man and tell a black man, we're going to give you a 4-year contract, but we're going to spend it at 2? How could this be possible in America where we live? How is it possible that Tebow can be gone for 100 years? And they say, oh yeah, because Tebow get on his knees and pray to God, different from how Kaepernick pray to God that he cannot have a football contract. I'm going to let Ira tell you a little bit more about this.
Yeah, well, Hugh Jackson's story is what brought me full bore head on to the Kaepernick situation. Of course, they tried to use Hugh Jackson as a conduit for Kaepernick to get back into the league. And Roger Goodell, and I've got to extend him some props for his effort. Now he works with the owners, but he doesn't work for the owners. But he tried to go against the ownership by giving Hugh Jackson a chance to present Colin Kaepernick on that day of that workout, and it fell apart at the end, and everybody knows why, because Kaepernick changed the venue at the last minute. But the deal is this: coaches in the NFL, and I wrote about this in my book, the Hugh Jackson story. It's called "The Kid Can Coach." It'll be out the beginning of June. It's in publication right now. Coaches in the NFL, and a lot of people don't know this, do not have a union. They will not allow the coaches to have a union. And the players have a union, referees have a union, different entities involved with the production of a football game, they all have unions, electrical workers, everybody. The only people that don't have a union are coaches. And the reason behind that is because it goes back to racism, and it goes back 100 years to the beginning of this league. But essentially, if you unionize the coaches, that means you're unionizing a lot of blacks that would have say-so in how the daily business occurs. So in order to eliminate that as a possibility, they just deunionize the entire employment process of being a coach. There's no unions. And if you talk, even if you talk about a union, you'll be blackballed from the league by the ownership. You can't even talk about it. Players, you can't do that to, because you need them. You need their bodies, you need their physicality, you need their employment to present your product. Coaches, you can find coaches. You can find them at the next level, college. You can even reach down to high school. There's always a coach willing to step on another coach's carcass to move up. It's a dog-eat-dog profession.
Yes.
That's why they'll never have a coaches union, because once you unionize, then you have to give them certain things like guaranteed employment or guaranteed reparations after they leave your employment, as in a pension and social security, some type of financial security after they've been with you so long. That's why they're able to do the things that they do to Hugh Jackson and Kaepernick and anybody else that even whispers something about unionizing the coaching profession.
I understand that.
Yeah.
See, so basically, let me collect my thoughts on this so I can say it right. When you become a coach, you become an administrator.
Yeah.
And that's how they look at their coaches in the league. Like, you're an administrator, you're not a player. Your value is as a supervisor. So we're gonna make sure that you only have supervision, so you can never form a union, because if you form a union, we can't tell you things to do, because it'll be a block there that stops us. So it was a wise move they made,
Right.
to make them administrators instead of being unionized. And that's just the way of life. And sometimes you got to be punished for that, for you being so special. And they need that tool that you have as a good coach, a good brain. And when those brains come along, it's hard to find them, but they are so racist that when they see a black brain that can really run a company, they don't want a black man to run their company for real.
They feel threatened.
Yeah, because now the face has changed.
They feel threatened. They've had player strikes. Remember when they had scab football players?
Yeah.
They've had referee strikes.
Yes.
Remember they had the scab referees. They're not going to have a coaching strike
No,
because they'll never unionize them.
Yeah, because you know they pay coaches so much.
And they try to make coaches feel like they're part of the group. You know, when they hire a coach, he's part of our gang. You know, he's part of administration. He's part of the ownership process, the managerial process. He's an entity of us, and we can just cut that entity off. That's why we fire him.
Yeah.
That's why they fire him. So I don't see how they can remedy that unless the federal government stepped in and made it mandatory, because you can be employed for 13, 14 years, and then once you get fired from one, you may not get hired again. Now all you're fit to do is coach football.
Yeah, that's
And you have no guarantees.
life ain't guaranteed. Life ain't guaranteed. But again, we from the Green Believers. We believe in social equity. And talking about social equity, there's no guarantees. The governor said that social equity was going to be for the brown and black people of Los Angeles. He forfeited that. He decided that social equity was going to be for anyone who got in there first. And what happened? The brown and black people, they got shut out. And when we talk about the Green Believers, we talk about everything about cannabis and everything about the community. Because if you're not real with yourself, you're not being real with no one. And the Green Believers is a team. And we is very real with each other. And we try to make sure that when we have the conversation around the board with everybody, they get a full grasp of what we're talking about. And when we give them a full grasp, is telling them, like, if you don't do your job, you're not going to get your license. And then when people call themselves like going through a shortcut and say, oh, I'm going to get them over here, and then they find out they got to give out 58% of their license to somebody who don't look like them, who don't talk like them, and when you look in the mirror, there ain't no resemblance to them. So we in a situation that the brothers and sisters got to open their mind and open their heart to each other and help each other get you guys money so you guys can have you guys license. Because it's going to be, say, $13,000, $14,000 for your application when DHO open up. And if you're not there and ready to do what you got to do, they're going to pass over you and you're not going to get no license. So you guys need it right now in this pandemic, whatever you guys doing to succeed in life, and you're going to build a building block for the industry, you need to start now and get to work. Because when you get to work, you don't have to try to get ready, because you can already be ready. And this is how we are in the Green Believers. Now, when we talk about Whitey's Enterprise, we talk about a whole different machine. This machine that we working with is so outrageous because they got so much energy, because the city and the state forfeited our lives and put us away. So now this team that we done put together from different walks of life, we are here attacking. And every time an opportunity opens, we don't try to creep through the door, we just rush through the door. And we try to get what we can out of everybody on our team. We got writers on our team. We got production managers on our team. We got different team members. We got a team that they make their own websites. So in a moment in time, it's like Just Poppin' need a website. And we walked in the house, then walked in the store, and the guy said, give me your computer. I got to set up Just Poppin'. So now you can find Just Poppin' at justpoppin.net. It's Just Poppin'. It's a hamburger stand. It's everything that everybody want to do in business. And this is what we do every day. We set businesses up. We are a consultant business, and we consult all the black brothers in the neighborhood. So if you need some information about where you're going, we can help you find a way for you to be successful in this game that we are in. So always remember, this is the time, it's right, and we're here to help you do what's necessary for you to succeed. Because if you don't succeed, we don't succeed. And there's no way in the world that we're gonna not help you to succeed in life. So again, everything that Ira's saying is correct. Iris is here for one purpose only, to notify everyone that the kid who can coach is coaching again. He at Tennessee State, he's coaching again. He an offensive coordinator. There's nothing gonna really hold you back but yourself, because you're gonna put yourself in the right position to go forward. So Ira will tell you a little bit more about how Mr. Jackson is doing.
Yeah, you landed on his feet just like a cat, and you know, how do you go from being coach of the year, you're the offensive coordinator or offensive coach of the year, to not having a job, period? You know, that's almost impossible.
It's really impossible.
Yeah. So yeah, he landed on his feet with Eddie George down there in Tennessee State, and I believe that's going to be a bridge back to major college and professional coaching for him. And the book is coming out, and you'll see the pathway that it took for him to get to where he's at now. And I have some interest from movie studios about a production of Hugh Jackson's life. And don't want to get ahead of the horse, but it's a story that's very appreciable, and it's made really for television. His story is like I told the studio, it's Boys in the Hood meets New Jack City meets Remember the Titans. You put all three of those movies together, that's Hugh Jackson's real story. And I can't wait for the reviews to start coming in after the book is in circulation. And waiting for these studios in the South, people that are connected to Tyler Perry, they really like his story, and even Fox loves the scenario. Nobody's read it yet. I'm the only one who's read it because I wrote it, but nobody's read it yet. And but I can't wait for the reviews to start coming in. But it's finished, and we're publishing it right now.
My dudes told me like this. They said, "This is what we do."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah, this is what we do. You see what Ira's doing? This is what we do."
Yeah.
And he done put a bombshell out. It's a can't miss, a can't read. It's that thing that say, "Ooh, he came from South Central LA on 52nd." That's crazy, Ira.
The only head coach to ever come out of South Central Los Angeles and greater Los Angeles area. Hugh Jackson is a very unique story, and he circumvented certain pathways that you normally would take to ascend to that level, and he was able to bypass some of the hoops and hurdles you usually have to jump to get to that level. But it's an amazing story. I was exhausted. Believe me, I've been finished for about 2 weeks now, and it's feel like 1,000-pound gorillas off my back. I'm sleeping abnormally because I don't have that project over my head anymore, and been working and thinking about something else that you brought up the other day as a possible project. You have in your new hamburger stand in your restaurant, you have some hamburgers and sandwiches that are named after some reputable, streetwise and well-known characters. And I was thinking, they do have a mafioso museum in Vegas.
Yes.
They do need a international ballers museum, because there's so many personalities. We're talking internationally and across the United States, New York, Louisiana. We can come up with a museum that would mirror at least that the American Mafia Museum. We can come up with a museum that would be really, people would line up to go through it and pay to see what it's in there, and the exhibits. Something I've been thinking about, and me and you are going to continue to talk about. I like to have it based right here in Los Angeles.
Hey, listen to this. He talking about just popping. And we talking about just popping. When we talk about just popping is just not a word. It's the way of life of some gangsters. And when I woke them up in that era, we was all on the porch just studying each other, playing football, playing baseball, because LA was that. It was the mecca of sports. And that's all we did. And we was sitting on the porch hungry for a whole lot of years. And we seen all the older guys, they was getting some money. And we just woke up. And when I led the charge, because the old guys taught me so much, and I said, wow, I got to share this game. You know, it's game. You got to share, and you got to want to share it. And when I started sharing it, it was a whole lot of kings made. So when they talk about Snowfall, I told the dude, I said, listen, just popping. It's going to show you the pictures of the history of South Central LA, from the east side to the west side. And it's going to be on the wall of Just Poppin'. So when you walk in Just Poppin', you're just not walking to a hamburger stand, you walk into a history lesson. You walk into the history lesson of life, the history lesson of getting money, a whole lot of money. And none of these guys I'm going to put on the wall ever took nothing on credit. All of them just bust their ass. They ran in jewelry stores. They ran in banks. They did all the things what they needed to do. They was pickpockets on buses. They was just, it's this game on top of game on top of game. They was cooking water. Or they had a heroin sack. But all at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the whole new generation that came up behind us, they was selling cocaine. And they was like, what's going on? The blueprint is here. Can we follow that blueprint and succeed? And I looked at all of them and said, ain't nobody big enough to run LA. So enjoy it. Ride, baby. Do what you got to do. So today, with no further ado, I got another player in our house. His name is Trone. I'll give you a little background on him. He's Ice-T's manager. Ice-T comes from where we come from. He did what we did. He played in the same league. But he stepped out and he did something special. He became a movie star. And Trone was his leader. And he led Ice-T down the road where they had a band. And they stayed in what they did. They stayed in the loop of life. They didn't destroy each other. They kept each other. They loved each other. And today, they still in the same place, loving each other, taking care of each other. Let me introduce you to Trone.
All right. Good to see you, Whitey.
It's an honor.
Yes, sir. Am I good? Yeah, man. In 82, September of 82, and I wasn't able to get back until the end of 85, September of 85. So, yeah, it's a long road, man. The accomplishments that Ice has made. I'm not his business manager, but I'm his tour manager and road manager, and been around the world with it. But we started a rock band back in '91 called Body Count. There was a lot of controversy because he had made a song called Cop Killer, and they were very angry at him. I mean, you had Charleston Heston and Warner Brothers was saying they were going to back him up. It was the freedom of speech, First Amendment, that they were going to stick by him, and called him in and basically showed him a big pizza and told him, see that olive right there? Do you think we're going to fold this pizza, or we're going to pick this little piece of olive up out of there and throw it to the side? And that's basically what they did. But they did let him walk away with his masters, his publishing, and he went from there to Priority, and Priority put out his next album in '92, which was called Home Invasion, and had a song on there that Jay-Z redid, was called 99 Problems and a Bitch Ain't One. But everybody kind of thought that was Jay-Z, but Ice did that in '92. And he was successful in getting out of the game, from doing what we were doing, robbing jewelry stores and hustling, trying to get it, so yeah. But it's an honor and a privilege to always be able to see my guy. It was unfortunate when I came home, he had ended up falling and got himself back though, man. And that was just the great thing, man, to know that they wasn't gonna stop him from coming home. Let our people go. A song Wyman's got, let our people go, man. Yeah, so that's just a little history of, we go way back, and
I'm waiting on the book, man. I mean, you got stories up in you, and you just ain't letting them out, huh?
Man,
I want to hear about the road. And
it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And I just want to clarify. My name is Patron. They call me Trone, but Patron is my real handle, and I had the name before the liquor. And if you break it into 2 syllables, Patron, the liquor, is Pat Ron. Mine's is Pat Rome. Which one's closest to Patron?
Yeah. Hey, tell them the history, baby. Tell them the history. Hey, I tell you like this. This show right here will always bring history on it. And this is what we do every day of our lives. We sit back and remember all the challenges we had when we was young. And we got past a whole lot of things that other people have no idea how to do. And they sit back now, they just sit on the cold ground and surrender. And then they look at us like, how you guys still carrying on? And we say, hey, when we came off the porch, we was hungry. And today, we still hungry.
It doesn't go away.
Don't go away. The hunger pains don't go away.
So when I look at Ira, he come in just popping to buy a burger. I said, "You still hungry, huh?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm still hungry. We on our way down to San Diego."
Right.
Yeah, he said, "We on our way down to San Diego to do this other pilot." So by saying that, when I said that, when we came off the porch, we took an oath with each other, and we was true to the game. We never told on each other. We always stayed real. And as one fell, we was there to try to catch him and pick him up and dust him off and show him the route. And every day when I sit back, I look at my dudes, and I'm very impressed because they never surrendered to the people who wanted them to surrender to. So here we are, we're looking at two great guys on the side of me. They never surrendered, they stayed on the grind. And now, here go my man Ira. He on the grind so hard. And every day he say, "Whitey, I didn't get to bed at 7. I said, "What?" He said, "If you're not on the typewriter all night, you're not grinding." It's like when you set up a jury lick, you're grinding. You thinking because you don't want to get caught. So he don't want to get caught sleeping because his stories is so big. So he's gonna tell you a little bit more about this other pilot that we're getting ready to attack because we grinding, bro.
It's an amazing story. I stumbled upon it 2 years ago. A friend of mine who owns a nightclub out here in Los Angeles, his brother killed a young lady trying to kill his baby mama. He missed her, he shot her sister, and he was looking at the death penalty. Well, when you're, and this is all new to me, this information, when it came to me like this, when you are up for the death penalty, they send an investigator out to interview you. And they interviewed him, and he gave them a list of people to contact that will shed some positive light on his past existence, because they have to present that to the jury. And my name was one of the names that he put on the list, and this lady, Miss Teresa Diamond, she came to visit with me and gave me a 2-hour interview. All her interviewees, she gives them at least 2 hours. That's the least time that she'll spend with somebody. Sometimes it's 4 hours. And she sat with me for 2 hours, and she was so interesting. I'm talking about her when she told me about her processes and her investigative techniques. It was nobody. I've never met anybody that's done this job or even heard of this job. I didn't even know it was a thing. And she dog eat dogs with the district attorneys. She has to battle their investigators and come up with the positive on this possible death penalty verdict, and while they're coming up with the negatives. And I wrote her name down just a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, and I just thought of it. I told her, I said, "You have an interesting book." She said, "I got 30 years of death penalty cases at home." And I said, okay. I kept that in my mind, and talking to one of the Tyler Perry producers, Jamie McCoy, and I pitched it to her 2 years later. I said, "I know a person, and this is what she does." And she says, "We want that. We want that as a television show." So that's what I'm out here doing. We're going down to San Diego, and we're going to start the filming and documentary process of this woman, and she welcomes it. She has a lifestyle that's never been produced or seen in a television or movie form. Nobody's ever played this type of character, has done this type of job. Nobody even knew this thing existed.
Okay.
Until I met her.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I tell you this much. Everybody, I'm at the throne. I said, "What about him?" I said, "You know, a person, a friend of mine." But as soon as I came out the penitentiary, I went down to Vegas to get married again. And I'm like, "Tron," he's like, "I'm there." You know, I said, "Where Ice?" He said, "He can't make it, but I'm there." And you know, we come from the same block. You know, we did the same thing. And a whole lot of people sometimes they be telling these false stories that they came from where we came from, and they walked the turf, and they had fights, and we never seen them a day in our life. You know, and today, you know, we cleared a whole lot of things up, and we keep moving. But Tron like been doing so much, and he been trying to build himself and build his team and take care of his family, because family is everything. It's the most important thing in life. And when we look at each other, that's the first thing coming out of our mouth. How's family doing? And he like, family good. That's good. So every time he come down here, I'm making my business, trying to pick up the phone, get in contact with him. And now he's here. I've been waiting to get him on this podcast for a minute. So here go Tron one more time.
You know, I'm just like, really, like I said, excited, and then, you know, privileged and honored to be up and around my brother. But, you know, we and him talked. I was at Just Poppin' yesterday when he got me something to eat. You know, food is, man, delicious. But we were just talking about the past and you know, speaking on some of the guys that were around back in those days that were really getting it, you know. And I was talking about John Boy, and he had a club called Casanovas in the marina, you know, where a lot of people attended. He had the piano, the grand piano, and, you know, it was spectacular, man. It was something that doesn't even exist today, where we have a club that blacks can go to in the marina, you know. And, you know, and I was telling Whitey how everything intertwines, like, you know, John Boy was getting it, you know, Young Tommy was getting it, you know, Bruce, you know, Ice made a song, he put in the lyrics, Bruce is a giant, Nat C's clock and dough, bebop's a pimp and my old freak's a hoe. He was talking about Bruce Richardson, who we call Genius, rest in peace. But at the end of the day, the story is, if Whitey tells his story and John Boy tells his story, it's like almost like Power, you know, with the you know, Power Book 2, Power Book 3, Power Book 4. It's that dramatic, you know, that it was really happening. Like, you know, they portray someone had a club. John Boy had a club, like really did have a club, and really called Casanovas in the marina. And I'm talking about, you know, ball players, Magic, a lot of folks, I mean, celebrities was attending this club. And to this day, we don't own anything or have a club that we can go to in the marina, and we got folks that's got millions, you know. Magic's a billionaire. He ain't got a club, and, you know, not that he wants one, but still, it's not nowhere where we can go, you know, to reminisce or bring back the old times. But when he tells this story, you know, and I'm looking forward to it, you know, and it's gonna be huge, man. It's gonna be big, because it can be fact checked, and it can be, you know, I mean, it's almost like they took Power and stole, you know, stole some of what LA was about, even though they saying it was in New York. You know, I don't know if it was even going down like that. I mean, it's not based on a true story.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, man, I you know, I had to come and get with you. You know, it's a privilege to come to the podcast. You know, we won a little Grammy with this year, 2020, for the best metal performance. And that's the first time in Grammy's history that a black rock band has won best metal performance. So, you know, we're looking to capitalize on that. You know, we've been out with some of the biggest and the best when they was on top. Guns N' Roses, Metallica, we opened for them, stadiums, you know, so.
You ever run into Fishbone?
Yeah, we done been out there with Fishbone, we done been out there, you name it, we done been there.
True story. I took that group to their first talent show. They were out of Dorsey High School.
Okay.
I took them to their first talent show because I had a Pinto station wagon that could fit some instruments. And they asked, okay, Kendall Jones is like my baby brother, little nephew. He's the leader of Fishbone. But he asked me, Ira, we got to get to Dorsey for this talent show. This is in, oh man, I can't remember that, 80? When I had that Pinto wagon, I took them to that talent show, and they won it.
Yeah.
They actually won it that year. But they, I left and started balling, and next thing I know, they're on Soul Train. I said, hold up, that's the group I took to Dorsey.
Hey, that's the great thing about Los Angeles. And I'm gonna piggyback on what he just said. John Boyd is a character that I've been knowing for a long time. Black Tommy, character I've been knowing.
Yeah.
These characters, Little Tommy, and then they got Ice Cream Man, and then you got Renee McGowan.
Yeah.
Then you got Young Wizard, you got Big Wizard, you got
Black
DJ,
Day.
you got Black Day, you got LaRue, you got Skippy. We got all of these people that we talk about. We got Doocy. Then we got the boys off the bottoms, Frog, Larry, and then you go to Compton. You get Richie Rich. You get what's the other boy name? The Johnson Kid, and you get Moon. You get Moses. You get all of these people, and then everybody asks the same question: who had the most money? But the problem is that Daryl, Face, all these cats, you couldn't count their money because they had too much money. And then you got Brian Brim, then you got Clyde, you got the boys off 103rd and Compton, then you got the boys out to Nicholson, you got the boys out of Jordan down to the Imperial Court. All these characters talk about Los Angeles. They say Watts, Compton, but when you add it all up and you put it on the table, on your chessboard, it say Los Angeles. All these fly dudes and everybody got a certain story that they could tell. And then you go to the Peblos and you talk about the Termites, you talk about the Don, you talk about the Jessies, you talk about Xavier, you talk about all these other people, and all of them is like us, black, billionaires. And everybody say, man, what you mean? I say, LA is so big, it had so much money, that when you talk about when the Colombians came, you guys in the 80s, the later 80s, this worked for some Colombians, but these dudes from the 70s to the 85s, the 86, they have their own paper. Mm-hmm. So we could sit here and have this discussion, and you could talk about John Boy opening his great club, and the whole thing gonna come back, I'm saying on notice. He paid for it out of his own pocket, and he never owed another person a dime for it.
Right.
We talking about Cadillac Willie. We talking about all these boys, and man, all I can do is say, man, I was blessed to be able to walk on the same field with these players, and like Ice and like Irvin and everybody else, like Trone, like Ira. We walked together, we talked together, we did the same things together. And now we're older and we're doing other things together, and we're being successful at what we do. So I'm going to give my people a couple minutes because I got to close this out. So, Jerome, you close out on what you think.
Yeah, I want to close out with, just like you just mentioned, the collectively, all of them getting money was a billion. Like John Boy said it. He said, man, if you would have had all of these cats together, it was a billion. It was a billion easy. Because this cat had multi-millions. He had multi-millions. He had multi-millions. And it added up with all of these individuals. Renee McGowan, what's the I always call the fat kid.
Who, Dobie?
No,
Little Tommy.
No, Little Tommy, Santa Mae. Yeah, Santa Mae. When I come home, and it was just amazing, man, to see, what I'm saying? And these are just cats that, the individuals that you run, cats that you didn't even know were sitting on, what I'm saying? $500,000, $2 million, that's what it was. But collectively, it was all together. It was a $1 billion. If they had came together and made a corporation, it would have been $1 billion corporation. Easy.
Ira?
Well, just like I said, I just got a 1,000-pound gorilla off my back with the Hugh Jackson story, and I have another project in the works. Real quick, it's I got a grandson named Hunter, and I got another grandson named Manning, like Peyton Manning. So I created a detective out of Atlanta. His name is Hunter Manning, and he's a manhunter. That's what he does. He hunts serial killers.
All right. Okay.
That's my next book.
All right. Well, I got to get out of here. It's been fun. It's been an honor. I think.
Yes, sir.
I think Ira.
All right.
I think Tone.
Yes, sir.
It's my honor to have you here, and
Man,
I'm going to have you
my
again.
pleasure. Yes, please.
And
do.
L.A., wake up. L.A. Chronicles is on his way. Whitey's Enterprise, Ira Tillman, Tron, they got something special going on. Everybody wake up and stay in the game. We signing off. Take care.
Peace.